Government has launched the 100-day challenge to end gender-based violence and femicide. It's being piloted as a way to end this epidemic. A number of stakeholders are part of the initiative. Well, one of them is the Masimanyane Women's Rights International Group. Founder and director for the organization, Dr. Lesley Ann Foster, joins us to unpack this this morning. Dr. Foster, good morning. It sounds all wonderful to end GBV and femicide within 100 days. I just get the sense that this isn't realistic. Having said that, though, it's certainly good to keep femicide and GBV in the spotlight. How realistic is this challenge?
Good morning, Gareth, and good morning to all the viewers. Well, it is one of the attempts that we have to address the problem. The problem we have is enormous. The levels of violence are still rising, and so we have to use whatever strategies we can to try to address this. So what happened was that we had a pilot program in the Eastern Cape on the 100-day challenge, which was a 100-day challenge. It was a bit hampered by COVID, but what it did was it brought a multi-sectoral, intersectional response to the problem in the province, and it was very successful in building social cohesion, in building the networks, and in strengthening the responses. So we're saying that it's a 100-day challenge, and that challenge is to see whether we can put in the infrastructure, the networks, and build the responses on a multi-sectoral basis. That's what we want to do. I mean, the problem we have now is far broader and deeper than 100 days would be able to address it. But this is at least one of those attempts. The National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence addresses, the way in which we can do this as a whole of society approach. So it's one of the strategies that leads up to that. What we're hoping to achieve within the 100 days is to have all stakeholders working together to address the issue, which is not there at the moment. That would be a major achievement if we can get that right. Absolutely,
and it's what's nice about it as well, and the reason that we wanted to have this discussion is it puts a target, it gives a nice timeline on this, because the sense that many people have spoken to about this is every year we talk about gender-based violence and femicide, but we don't really ever put a timeline down to getting something done. So this is a nice, measurable, tangible way of doing this. What is top of the priority list? There's a lot that I'm sure you'd like to get done. You can't do everything 100%. As of when this challenge starts, what's number one on your priority list?
Well, I think the biggest problem we've had is that many people are doing many things. I used to say violence against women is everywhere and it's nowhere. What this does is it pulls all the role players together, whether it's dealing with the economic side of it, with research, looking at the different service providers of the state and civil society, looking at the judiciary and their responses. So it's pulling all of those together into one coherent, cohesive response. And that's what makes this so powerful, is not having, bits and pieces of work being done in different areas, but in every area pulling everyone together. So there's a common vision, a common goal, and a common response to that goal. That makes it very powerful and different from what we've done in the past. So we're trying new things and saying, would this be and can this be a better way to respond? I'm very excited about it because I think it really does call for a new approach and a new way of working. And I think what makes it all powerful is that people feel a sense of working together, a sense of a common vision and a common response. And that makes it really powerful.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we need. We need powerful communities to stand up and to do something about this as well. You would have seen a flash of our developing news. You would have seen an update there, just by the way, as I remind you of the flooding down in KZN. Forgive me, Doctor, I'm just updating viewers why they saw that flash of a developing story. It's 20 people having lost their lives. Dr. Foster, let me come back to you for a moment. I'm curious, when is the launch of this 100-day challenge? How does someone watching at home get involved? I'm sure there's somebody watching who says, I would love to be involved. What can they do?
There's a virtual launch this morning at 10 a.m. So that because the 100-day challenge is happening in different areas. So we started the pilot in the Eastern Cape, but it's now moving into different provinces. So the exciting thing about it is that it is happening virtually, and that opens it up to the whole country to be able to participate in it.
And just a last question to you, Doctor. You can tell me how people can sign up for this and just give me the online details where people can go as well in your answer. There's always going to be a concern about government being involved in something like this, and because of the red tape involved in anything government seems to do. How involved is government in this?
Well, government is actually sponsoring the implementation of the National Strategic Plan. But again, it's a whole of society response, and civil society is very much involved in the campaign. This is also very different because one of the demands that the Total Shutdown campaign made was that we have a 51% representation of civil society so that we can keep it on track. We can look at the issue of accountability and leadership. So it's a very strong partnership between the state and between civil society. The president has an entire unit now devoted to gender-based violence strategies for the country, an entire unit made up of 4 women from civil society and members of his office. And that unit has been working endlessly to bring about the changes. And then within the government, each of the pillars of the National Strategic Plan, this is pillar number 2 on prevention and social cohesion, has a whole unit that is affecting that. And so this is really, really exciting. But I think what viewers can do right now, because I don't have the information about the Zoom link, is to actually just Google it. And they will see that the 100-day challenge will come up, and they will be able to get the link to that. I can also provide that to you in a while.
No, we would appreciate that, but I think a good way to do is to go and Google the 100-day challenge, the national launch getting underway. Dr. Lesley Ann Foster, thank you so very much. Wishing you and everyone involved all the very best. 100 days from now, no doubt we'll chat at the end of this. I'm sure we'll check in as well as it continues. My thanks to Dr. Lesley Ann Foster, founder and director of the Masimanyane Women's Rights International Organization. 100-day challenge to end gender-based violence and femicide. That is the kind of plan we need in this country. We'll keep a